Hey guys, we're getting ready for the November 5th event. That is the 30th anniversary of the day the internet was commercialized. And we've got an amazing lineup. Let me tell you who it is right now, without any further ado. We got this in alphabetical order by first name. Number one, Ben Settle. Some of you know Ben. Probably most of you know Ben at this point. Ben started out as a student, now a colleague, and now I learn from him. So we got a good session with him. Then we have Caleb O'Dowd. Now he's written an amazing book called Monetize. I think that's the name of it. And he's somebody who's relatively new to me, but he is one of the absolute finest online marketers you will ever meet. And he's been that way for a long time, 15 years. He was one of the proteges of Gary Halbert, actually lived and worked with Gary Halbert for 3 years. He knows internet inside and out. He knows direct mail inside and out, and he may be the ultimate multi-channel master. However, we have another one on the program too. So you'll see, you'll see. Next, in alphabetical order, Doberman Dan. This is another protege of Gary Halbert. If you don't know who Gary Halbert is, you really should do some homework. He was one of the best copywriters who ever lived, and that's not hyperbole. That is the reality. Um, he's also absolutely one of the very, very, very best marketing educators that ever existed. You can count on the number of on the fingers of one hand, how many people might be at his level, might have been at his level. So Dan, internet marketer, but started out in direct mail and was very early on the internet. A lot of people don't give Doberman Dan credit, but he was already marketing, I believe, 95, maybe even as early as 94. So he was really early. Dan Kennedy. Dan Kennedy. How many people can get an interview with him these days? Not many. But he was willing to be part of this program, and we talk about his pre-internet career and his post-internet career. And Dan's another one. Dan was the first person that gave me a chance to speak on online marketing to an audience, and that was 1993. And a lot of internet marketers, including Corey Rudel and other greats, have gone and continue to go to Dan to get him to straighten their businesses out. Enough said about that. Drayton Bird, this is our octogenarian guy. He's been on this, one of the great, great, great copywriters of all time. When Eugene Schwartz, and if you know your direct response, you know that name. If you don't, you have homework to do. When he went to England, wanted to meet Drayton Bird. Drayton Bird has, and he's still active. He's still got an agency. They're still doing amazing things because he loves the game. Drayton was so good at what he did that back in the 1960s, when he sold his agency to David Ogilvy, and that's a name you should know. If you don't, you got some profitable. Oh, every bit of homework I give you is profitable, believe me. Um, he sold his agency to David Ogilvy, and then David Ogilvy hired him. Starting salary over $1 million a year. No, excuse me, 1 million pounds, which is way more than $1 million. That was for starts, right? And that's really nice. By the way, if anybody ever offers you that, and that was in the 60s, and you could have bought, because I know this from someone that I know that did it, you could have bought a co-op in Manhattan on Fifth Avenue overlooking Central Park with a doorman for $100,000 in the 1960s. Um, so figure out what £1 million or dollars was worth in the 60s. Little tip, if anybody offers you that kind of a salary even today, take it. It's pretty good. No risk and pure net. So we're going to have Drayton talking about we got into some really interesting things about copywriting that I've never heard him talk about. And I've been talking to Drayton for 20 plus years. Followed in alphabetical order by Jonathan Meisel. Now, if you're a serious, serious scholar and/or old timer of online marketing, you know Jonathan's name. He was one of the very first people to do online marketing education. He held the best seminars before the system seminar in Boulder, Colorado. I think it was called the Power Marketing Summit. Unbelievable events, really great. He's if you want to have a small footprint, in other words, you don't have a cast of thousands working for you, and you want to make maximum money on the internet, Jonathan is the guy to talk with. If you can get through to him, not so easy to do. He's made money from day one. He came to it from a direct mail background. Was making money like in the 90s, which most of us were not doing. He was selling traffic at high rates, and then when the traffic market collapsed, he was then buying traffic and using it for offers. So this is one of the most adaptable people in the history of the internet, and a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun on that call. And then last but not least, I picked seven people. I call them the Magnificent Seven. Uh, Lloyd Irvin. Now, you may not know Lloyd. He was a big player in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He has a huge training facility in Maryland, 10,000 square feet. But he's really a businessman, and he brought me up to date. He got introduced to internet marketing through us, like so many people, and he now has a piece of 70 different businesses. He goes in as the marketing guy, uh, and he becomes, like sort of a plug-in, so that when they need help every now and then, he's there. And in exchange for that, he gets a piece of the company. Why would anybody give away a piece of their company to somebody just for some marketing advice? Because he's really good. On the front end, he brings in people, he brings in technology, he brings in methodology, and doubles, triples, quadruples the size of the business. And for that, he retains a piece of it. So he just keeps adding pieces. So in addition to all his businesses, which are significant, in addition to his real estate holdings, which are significant, in addition to his fun job, which is being one of the top trainers for UFC, which actually makes money too, because he has a retail sort of like consumer wing of that. In addition to all those things, he's also getting the piece of 70 different businesses and adding new ones all the time. So I want to repeat the names: Ben Settle, Caleb O'Dowd, Doberman Dan, Dan Kennedy, Drayton Bird, Jonathan Mizell, and Lloyd Irvin. And I dare say there are very few people on this planet that could put together this lineup for you. I don't know many people that actually know these seven people, even to call them up and ask for a favor. Um, there may not be anybody else that could have pulled this off, but it is being pulled off. It's November 5th. It's the 30th anniversary of the commercialization of the internet. So if you made a nickel on the internet, it all traces back. We're tracing it back to November 5th. Obviously, there was no specific day that somebody flipped a switch and it went consumer, but November 5th, we're going with that for a number of reasons. This event is also being done in promotion of my forthcoming book, and I'm hoping it's going to come out on time. It keeps getting longer and longer every day. And the name of the book is How the Web Won, and it's about the period from 1993 to 1995, from when there was no web at all practically, and no commercial activity, to suddenly the thing had legs and took off. And I was in San Francisco when that happened, and I saw everything that happened, and I participated in an awful lot of what happened. I've never had occasion to tell the story in detail because I've been busy teaching people how to make money. But since I realized nobody else is going to tell this history, I put it all together in a book called How the Web Won. Dan Kennedy and many other very successful marketers, Ben Settle would add to this, that if you want to know how to be successful today, you damn well better know what people did before you were born or before you came along, because there's a lot of information there. So that's the book. It's called How the Web Won. The minute it's ready, you will be able to pre-order it. Believe me, I will announce it if I'm on time, and you can start pre-ordering it. But the main thing is you want to mark your calendar for November 5th, 2024. We're going to do about, I don't know, I haven't run it with a stopwatch yet, but we're talking about at least 7 hours of content. To people who register, you will be able to attend for free. Okay. And when you're registered, you'll get an email that will tell you where the streaming is taking place from. We're going to send it out probably that morning. We don't want a bunch of freeloaders on. Would it be worth to be able to sit down with these seven guys and hear their war stories about business in conjunction with me asking intelligent questions and sharing my own war stories? I don't know, but it will be free to you if you register and you come and attend the whole thing. If you don't register, we will be packaging this. It will cost a fortune because it's worth a fortune. In fact, I have a book. It might even be out now. I think it's like 50 pages or something. It's called Testing, The Secret of Direct Marketing Profits. I actually wrote it in 1991. It was sort of a private publication, never made available to the public. I only shared it with my students and my clients and so on. And it's where everybody got introduced to A/B split testing and all the things that everybody takes for granted now. Anyway, we're selling that book soon. It'll be posted for $250. Why? Because it's worth $250. It's probably worth 200, well, I wouldn't say 250,000, but it's easily worth 1,000. And that's because if you're doing any advertising at all, I guarantee when you read these 50 or so pages, you're going to improve the efficiency of your advertising, your return on investment instantly. So if you've got a $1,000 a week budget, you will make the price of the book back probably on the first day, and then everything, and then it just keeps escalating from there, right, for the rest of your life. So this book is extremely valuable. It's extremely short. It's the exact text of the books that I wrote in 1991, pre-internet. I haven't changed a word. A word does not need to be changed, and you can just adapt it to the internet. It's pretty easy. It's a historic book. It's an important book. It's not a cheap book, and I ain't giving this stuff away cheap. However, if you come to the November 5th, 2024 event, you may find that there is a way you can acquire this book for a whole lot less than $250, but that's only for people that attend. I'm not in a rush to sell this book or push it out there, or I don't care if anybody buys it or not, but if you want to buy it, that's what it's going to cost. So anyway, taking this full circle, November 5th, we've got the absolute cream of the crop. And these are all people that have proven themselves not over years, the Johnny come lately, shooting star kind of guys. We're talking about people that have been at it for decades online. And in the case of Dan Kennedy, it goes back to the 70s. In the case of Drayton Bird, it goes back to the 1950s. I've been making my living from marketing since the 1980s. There's a lot of good, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of really good stuff out there. And I think the young generation of internet marketers, some of them are amazing. I am amazed at the quality of some of their work. It's really impressive. However, have they survived a decade? Maybe not, because they haven't had a chance yet. So we know they haven't survived 2, 3, 4, or 5 decades either. But this event that we're putting together are people that are active now, making money for their clients now, and are also veterans of every twist and turn you can imagine. Pre-internet, the dot-com craze, the dot-com crash, pre-social media, post-social media, all the stuff, all the bells and whistles. They've managed to figure them all out and not only survive, but continue to thrive. So you're invited free to this. It's a thank you to all my clients and students over the years for, couldn't do what I do. Every seminar I ever gave, I always said, there's no good seminar without a good audience. And I always thank my audience for coming because they are the ones that push the quality. So that's what this event is. It's a big thank you. It's also promotion for my book, How the Web Won. And that's what it's all about, November 5th. If you're registered, you're okay. Don't worry. If you haven't registered, you should worry because you ain't going to be able to be part of this unless you do. So the link is below. Click it. I just need your email address, and I'll send it. You'll be in this cycle of communication, and that's how this goes. So anyway, see you November 5th.